Hi folks, and welcome to another philosophy club. If it's your first time here, don't worry, we don't expect any prior knowledge on part of our philosophers, and as always this video is aimed at children between 9 and 12. Today we're going to be doing some philosophy of language. We're going to go straight to the heart of what it is for words to mean something with a little help of a caped crusader. So, I want to ask you a question. Is there a difference between me saying these two sentences? Bruce Wayne is Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne is the man in the Batman costume. On the surface, they use different words, but we're going to look at what those sentences mean and what terms like Bruce Wayne and the man in the Batman costume stand for. You might find the first sentence a little odd, like, duh, of course Bruce Wayne is Bruce Wayne, silly. Why are you even saying that? It would be like saying an apple is an apple. It's so true it almost doesn't need saying. The second sentence, if you didn't know anything about Batman, you might have to go and check to see if it's true. And, spoiler alert, it turns out it is true. Both sentences make what philosophers call an identity claim, which is a fancy way of saying one thing is the same as something else, or Bruce Wayne is identical to Batman. So let's go back to our question. Are these two sentences the same? Well, on the one hand, they're both making an identity claim about the identity of Bruce Wayne, and both sentences are true, but on the other hand, when I say Bruce Wayne, you're most likely to think of the mild-mannered billionaire, but if I say the man in the Batman costume, you might think of the caped crusader, all dressed in black. So, we have two sentences that make an identity claim about who Bruce Wayne is that are both true and yet mean different things. That's a problem, because if two things are identical, then they should tell us the same thing in both expressions. But the second sentence, Bruce Wayne is the man in the Batman costume, tells us much, much more. So, how can we explain this? Before we go into a solution, I want to see if you can guess the solution from playing this game. It's a pretty simple enough game. You have to find the odd one out in each list. If I gave you the list Bruce Wayne, Batman, The Dark Knight, and Robin, and asked you to pick out the odd one out, who would you pick and why? Look at the following lists and pick the odd one out and say why each one is the odd one out, and then see if you can guess the solution from the game. Okay, can you guess from the game what the solution was? I'll tell you the solutions at the end. So, to deal with our problem, GOTTLOB FREGE, a bearded mathematician and logician, that's logician, not magician, who is obsessed with making a language as logical and as mathematical as possible. So, what was his solution to our problem? Frege came up with a distinction. He said every object that we can make an identity claim about has two things. It has a sense and it has a reference. A sense can be a way we mean a word when we use it. A word can have multiple senses, because when we use a word we can mean different things with the word. For example, Bruce Wayne can mean both the hero in the caped costume and the mild-mannered billionaire. Each is a different sense of the same thing. Which brings us to our second characteristic that every object or expression has, which is a reference. A word will refer back to an object that it represents. The words Bruce Wayne and Batman both refer to the same object, even though each has a different sense. In our example, 3 of the 4 options were all different senses of the same reference, and that reference was Bruce Wayne. Robin is the odd one out because Bruce Wayne, Batman, and The Dark Knight all refer to the same person while Robin does not. Knowing the difference between sense and reference is important so that when we communicate, we can know what the other person is talking about by understanding the sense that they use. Since words can have multiple meanings, understanding the difference between sense and reference can make us better communicators and lead to less misunderstanding. Okay, thanks for watching. We hope to be back next week with more philosophy. In the meantime, here are the solutions, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Okay, thanks. Bye.